To the max, baby. Hello, world, and welcome back to the Max podcast, where we have real talk about educational transformation. I am Dr. Max, and I am super excited today to be joined by Nia Simone of What's the Word podcast. Welcome, Miss Nia Simone.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to be here with you today as we have conversations about leadership, education, what's our why around the work that we do. So thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, so excited. So I'm going to be leading this, okay? So we're going to do an opening question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
is
I'm nervous.
I don't think we ever really talked about it, but I'm really big on it because I'm a music fiend, music head, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite artist?
Oh gosh, does it have to be one? Like,
it don't have to be one.
So I love NDRE. I love Jill Scott. I love Mary J. Blige. I love Alicia Keys.
Okay.
I love Ella Mai. Like, I am such a calming 90s R&B kind of soul person that I can cut that on to clean the house, to get hype with, whatever. But I also am like in getting into like rap songs here and there. So I like Cardi B. I like that song Tomorrow, Cardi B and Glorilla.
Okay.
You know, they would pop out and go find some more. Like, I like that song. Okay. I like They Don't Know, They Not Like Us. They Not Like Us. Then I like him. Okay. I like, it's just different songs that I hear that are really inspirational. I find something in their words that excite me and motivate me. So it kind of depends on the mood. And I love gospel. I have Fred Hammond Radio on my Pandora playlist. I have Kirk Franklin when you want to get a little hype, you know. Okay. I have Tamala Mann. I have all of those people. So it kind of depends on the mood I'm in. So
okay, so I know, like, you say you are an introvert, right?
I am so introvert.
So for the people that don't know, this is the people that stay in the house. So I'll be like, okay, Doc, what you doing this weekend? She be in the house.
In the house, love the house. With a blanket, television show, my little baby Ember. Life is amazing. I'm okay with that.
So you are naming a lot of artists here. Yeah. Have you been to a concert in a while? Like, what are we doing? Because there's a lot of people dropping tour dates. So
I haven't in a while.
Okay.
My girlfriend was trying to take me to a show in Charlotte, but it was a whole lot of people, and I didn't really like all those people. So I didn't want to go to that show. So I haven't been to a concert in a while. No, I haven't.
Speaking of education, let's dive into that and how you even got started into education. Was it your first choice, or kind of walk me through your journey of how you got into education?
Very interesting. I went to Bennett for undergrad degree in psychology.
Yeah,
because I thought I wanted to do industrial organizational psychology or go to law school.
Okay.
And I worked for a software company, computer software company in human resources, and I didn't like it. It felt very cold. It wasn't personable with people. It was like money and numbers. And so I was like, I want to go to law school. I'm going to go to law school. I want to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a district attorney. I had already envisioned it. And my mom was like, you're so honest. You're so caring. Like, you have to be able to be comfortable with not always telling the truth. Right. So I don't know if that's going to work for you. And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. But one time I was in Atlanta hanging out with some girlfriends, and she called and she was like, this is the last flight that I'm going to pay for. So you're going to need to figure out a plan for your life. And I was like, well, I don't have one. And somebody said, why don't you teach? And I said, teach? I don't know about like teaching.
Right.
And I, for my entire life, went to 4-H camp. My mom would send me to 4-H camp during the summers. And then I started becoming a volunteer at the camp. Then I started working at the camp. And so the people at the 4-H office were like, Thyais, you'll be a great teacher. You've done a great job for us. I applied for a job. I started teaching. I didn't know what that was going to be like, but I loved it. Like, I fell in love with it. And I think because it was something different every day.
Right.
And you got to build relationships with people and learn all kinds of things. But I kind of stumbled upon being a teacher. I know that's horrible to say, or being an educator, but I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I can attest to that because look, Doc knows. Doc had to put me to the side. Look, I'm very real and transparent. So
very real.
Yeah, teaching wasn't my first option either.
I know.
I like to be in front of the camera, hands on.
And you're very comfortable.
Yes. So I stumbled upon teaching too, but I was always around educators. My mom was an educator, my aunt was an educator, and my grandma wasn't an educator, but she volunteered throughout my years of like elementary, middle school. But I enjoy it too. It is something different every day, and especially, you know, our lovely school that we work at, it is something different, but it is rewarding as well. How long were you a teacher before you got into leadership?
So, what led me into leadership is that I really enjoyed the process of teaching in the classroom and having impact with the students that I served. I was an exceptional children's teacher, or even working alongside other regular ed teachers and pushing into their classrooms. And so what I realized is that my impact was very narrow. And I felt like what I was doing should be supported in other places and helping other children. And so I've had some amazing, amazing principals and mentors and people like Linwood Edwards was as a family member. He was the previous principal of Dudley High School. He passed. Like all of these amazing, my Aunt Ella Anderson, she went to Elizabeth City's Teachers College. And so all of these people around me were educators that I really didn't realize that I was learning and gleaning things from, which was interesting. And so I think they saw something in me. My principals saw something in me. And so it pushed me kind of to leadership. So I was a teacher for 6 years, believe it or not. Then I went into being a curriculum, 6 or 7 years. I went into doing curriculum as a curriculum facilitator. Then I was an instructional coach for the state, and it was the same thing as a curriculum facilitator, but I got to support 17 schools across the state of North Carolina, improving the literacy in English in their building. And so from there, I never really wanted to be an administrator because I always said, I don't want the games. I don't want all those other pieces. I really just want to focus on teaching and learning and how that happens, because there's an art to that work. And that really excited me. And so I even came to Bennett for a bit and did this little job as a learn and earn facilitator where I got to host sessions with the young ladies about being college students and transfers of knowledge between high school and college. All of these things kind of led me in that direction, but I never thought I would end up where I was. Like, I became an assistant principal of instruction because my boss from DPI referred me. And when she referred me to the job, I was like, you know, I told you I don't want to do this. Like, what are you doing?
You're being honest again.
I was being honest. Like, I really like teaching and learning. I really like supporting the academics in buildings and making it become real for students and staffs. And she was like, but that's what you can do in the role as an assistant principal of instruction. And so I did that for a couple of years. And I'm going to be honest, the way I became a principal is I got upset with my principal one day. So I am an emotional person too, and I do things based upon how it feels. It has to feel right. I have to feel like I'm being supported, feel like I'm being heard, to feel safe in that environment. And I think a lot of people have that same experience, but they're not clearly able to articulate, this is why I need a shift. So when I did not feel that I was being heard and supported in that space, I said, I don't even have to do this anymore. I'm applying for a principalship. Okay. Not thinking that I was going to get it, because an emotional decision turned into a whole different thing for me.
Right.
So that emotional decision of applying for a job landed me my first principalship after 2 years of being an assistant principal of instruction. And I am now 14, 15 years later, fourth school.
I want to know, because you say you spent 6 years in the classroom.
6 or 7.
6 or 7 years. Yeah. Then you transitioned to being an assistant principal.
Curriculum facilitator.
Then assistant principal.
Correct. So I did the CFIF role for 4 years.
Okay.
So I spent 4 years around my coaching other people to build their capacity with teaching in a school system and for the state of North Carolina. Then I moved into an assistant principal of instruction role.
Okay. So I want to know, how was your first day as a principal of a school? Like, how were your emotions? How did you prepare for that day? Because that's a big
that's a lot.
Duty. That's a heavy responsibility right there.
So once again, because I'm an introvert and I'm really a person who thinks a lot about what other people are thinking and how I land on people, which has led me to a point of being comfortable in who I am, right? And so not dimming my light or for others, or feeling that I need to, right? So walking into the API role, I started in October. And I started at Smith High School. And so here I am walking into this big place at a staff meeting in the middle of October. That was terrifying for me.
Right.
But then I focused on the work. So the introduction in the space with all the people was terrifying. But starting the work for me was easy because I'm focused very much on the work and impact on students. So it was kind of the same as being a principal. The biggest difference for me there was it was an elementary school and I had secondary experiences. And so at secondary, we're very focused on the content delivery and student outcomes. Where elementary is very focused on relationships. You have to spend time getting to know each student, every parent. And I do that in high school too, but it's very different. Like in elementary, I need to know your mama, your grandma, your auntie.
They're very involved.
Very involved, right? I need to make sure I'm meeting you at the car ride line, at the bus stop. Like it's a whole different thing. Right. But I also have to make sure that I'm very in tune to every one of my teachers. And so learning that part was something that was difficult, but I had an amazing coach and 2 other principals that navigated that process with me because we were first-time principals. So that mentorship of the how. So like secondary, you don't write personalized, well, before I went to elementary, I didn't write personalized notes and put them in teachers' boxes and gave them goodie bags for Valentine's Day and Christmas and every holiday that came around. But I realized through the coaching that I had that was important in elementary, and the teachers really needed to trust me and trust that I truly cared about them and their families and their trajectory as much as I cared about the students in order to do the work for me. Right. And so that was a hard learning curve for me because I had to learn to hug people. High school, baby, right. Christian side hug, fist bump.
Right.
But elementary, I need to be able to embrace you, and it's okay whether you got a runny nose, whether you don't feel well, whether I need to just coddle you because you're having a bad day. It was a different side of my emotional piece and my relationship piece that I really had to get in touch with in order to have the impact at elementary. So I think for me as a leader, that was one of the hardest pieces, but it's been so rewarding. And I think those 6 years at 2 schools in elementary taught me so much and made me so much of a better leader because relationships are truly the key to success.
It is. So I know you mentioned leader, so I am going to ask you about how is it being a woman in leadership? Because, a lot of times people still have the mindset of leadership and associating it with men.
Amen.
So how are you, how do you navigate that? Because you lead men on your team as well, and also as women. So being that woman in the leadership, explain to me, how is that? Is it overwhelming?
Oh,
you feel like it's more pressure on you?
Yes. It is all those things. It is emotionally, physically, psychologically, all of those things draining. Because being a woman, number one, but being a woman of color, a Black woman in those spaces, an African-American woman, I'm sorry, excuse me. This weather and all this pollen.
Yeah, the pollen is crazy.
The pollen is giving, right? The pollen is giving me a fit.
Too much.
Too much. Too. So being a woman in leadership, I'm going to be honest, I've evolved because I think that we suffer with imposter syndrome and trying to fit into all of these different spaces and be who people want us to be and show up how they expect us to show up. But at my age and my level of experience, I am authentically who I am. And I am comfortable with being that, but it took some hard trials, tribulations, the questioning of me and who I am, the question of how I deliver, how I show up, to say that this is who I am. So I was doing a keynote speaking engagement yesterday, and I said, people always say, well, Thyais, fix your face, fix your face, fix your face. Or maybe it's the way you said it. And I said, maybe my face is just broken because if I don't agree, I can't fix my face, right? And I know that I'm supposed to be able to code shift, and I know I'm supposed to be able to say things with empathy and love, but because I don't agree and I'm comfortable with telling you that I do not agree, that doesn't mean I'm being disrespectful. It means that I am emphatically standing on what I believe, and I stand for justice. I stand for access and equity. I stand for doing what is right for kids, even when people don't want to have those as real conversations. Equity and access is not something that is a buzzword. It is, what are you doing to show, how are you showing up every day for these children? What are you doing to truly impact change? And so for me as a woman, I was not this same woman and as comfortable today as I am, but I went through some hellacious trials and tribulations, and often at the hands of women who look like me. And I think as a woman in leadership, one thing I believe firmly in is the supporting of other women, mentorship of other women, saying, oh my gosh, girl, you look good today. I love that. Where did you get that from? Or even saying and hoping you're comfortable enough to me to say, Doc, come here, baby. Let me fix your hair. Or Doc, I don't like that lipstick color. Because what I realize is you're not trying to dim my light. You're trying to help me present as my best self. And I think as women, unfortunately, and in our culture, we are set to criticize and pull each other down. But think about the power and the success we will have if we all stood together to lift each other up. And other cultures do such an amazing job of lifting each other up, regardless of when they close the door, they can't stand each other. But when we walk out this door, we're united as one. And I think we don't do as good of a job as that. And so going to an all-girls school, being the principal of an all-girls school.
I was just about to mention that.
I taught my young women, we don't tear each other down. The world is already tearing us down. What can you do to lift each other up? You don't have to agree. But how can we disagree respectfully and walk away where everyone feels whole? And you might not feel whole today. You might feel whole 24 hours later. But at some point, you'll begin to feel whole.
Right.
And so I think it's hard. Being a leader is something that you have to have Teflon skin, and you have to learn, because people will smile at you in your face, and as soon your back isn't even completely a 180 turn, and the daggers are going. But I walk in dignity and grace, and I stay humble because I know that I am destined for this space. And regardless of what the world try to do, they can't shake me or move me because I'm doing what God has assigned me to do. And I have gotten comfortable in that space, in that time, and in that frame of mind, because often we battle more with our own frame of mind and trying to correct the behaviors that people have told us are wrong, because we get the she's the B word, or she just nasty, or she got the resting B face. No, I'm really thinking about the experience that I'm having so I can show authentically up as myself.
Right.
And that's hard.
Right. And that kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier about like your emotions, like, because that's how I am. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm working on that. But
we talked a little bit about that, boo.
I'm working on that. But that's one thing I can say about you, Dr. Maxwell, that's making me come back. Look, I'm honest and transparent. But like I said, I landed into teaching, but I just feel like
you're doing it amazing. And I tell you all the time. But you're a perfectionist, right? You're a perfectionist. So. You work really hard to be good at what you are doing. And it's evident in the work that you're doing for our students, not only as a teacher in the classroom, but as a yearbook. I mean, our yearbook is absolutely phenomenal because you have a different eye than some people. But you get frustrated and you'll be like, you know what, I'm done. I'm resigning today.
All right.
And I'm like, can we talk about it, baby? Like, come on back in. And you'll be like, not right now. And you'll get to turning on your heels and then you'll come back. But you're also starting a career. You're still young and you're evolving. But think about the mentorship, because some people be like, okay, let her go.
Right.
But I don't want to lose you because of the impact you're having on children. And even though it's not where you want to be, I say to you all the time, let's think about how this experience is helping to cultivate you to where you need to be.
One thing that you told me that stood out, and you didn't mention it here, but our one-on-one conversation was advocating for yourself.
Yes.
So just as a woman in a space, like any professional space, like what advice can you give to women about like advocating for yourself?
So I've learned that emotional decisions aren't always best because they don't prepare me. And I could be walking away from something that I'm supposed to learn in this season.
That's true.
Right. And so I need to hunker down, be reflective, take time to internalize some things so that I come out better from this experience, because life is all about ebbs and flows. There are going to be highs, there are going to be lows, there are going to be good days, there are going to be some bad days. And sometimes the bad days truly seem to outweigh the good days. Right. But you said something earlier. It was about the rewards that come out of this work that we do.
Right.
And in any work, whether you're in corporate America, whether you're in healthcare, whether you're in public service, we're always going to have our own struggle and our own story. But be comfortable in who you are. Don't change for other people. Stand for what you believe is right for the team, not for the I. And I think that's hard because to lose you would be detrimental to the students that you serve because you build relationships with those babies. You are helping to show them that I'm young, but I'm firm. I can come in here and be sassy, but I expect you to come in here and sit down and learn.
Right.
And we can laugh and we can joke, but you're going to leave me differently than you came before. Right. Like all of those pieces are things that you do well. And I think that that's over your time of elevation, right? But I also think it's because of what you said. You have found a connection in the space that you're in to support you along the way. Mentorship is invaluable. And it could be official or unofficial mentorship. I started this podcasting by some amazing friends that we were sitting down. We try to get together for lunch, dinner, or brunch. And we talk about our careers and we talk about our futures and where we want to see each other. And I said, oh, what about me podcasting? And they were like, girl, that's you. That's your calling.
It is.
And I was like, but I don't know. I'm really like, I don't like really being out in front of people. Like, they were like, but Thyais, you're so good at giving this kind of feedback. They saw something in me that I did not see in myself. So surrounding yourself with people who can check you when you're wrong, but correct you and support you and celebrate you when you're going the right way, and lift you up when you fall down. So advocacy for yourself is knowing what it is you want. And sometimes I don't believe we know what it is all the time that we want because we're figuring it out as we go, which is the purpose of life, right?
Right.
But I do a lot of journaling. I do a lot of self-reflection. I've learned now about this note section on my iPhone. So I'm putting all these notes, y'all, you know, you be helping me with those. You help me with those kinds of things.
So these are things that you do for like stress relievers and just to get back to not Doc, but Thyais.
Thyais. Because I can't lose Thyais.
No, you can't use Thyais. We love Thyais.
I can't lose Thyais, right? The 252 has to stay because 252, baby, that made me who I was. Every experience, whether they were good or bad, helped cultivate me to the woman I am today. And it makes me a better mother, a better wife, a better friend, a better educator, a better mentor, like all of those pieces is who makes Thyais. Dr. Maxwell is what I do as a profession, but Thyais goes with me everywhere I go. So code shifting does not mean that I need to just throw Thyais out and today I'm going to be this astute person for you, and because that's not who she is, right? And you don't trust that. People have to trust what they see.
Right.
And you also have to be a woman or man of your word. Because when you lose people's trust, that's one of the hardest things to ever get back.
That's true. And I think that's one thing that my mom always taught me, and I've seen in her, and I also seen in you as well, just being who you are. You know, no matter the age, race, anything, just be who you are because people do trust you more when you just your authentic self. And
let your light shine.
Yes, and they appreciate you too. So let's dive into the podcast because you mentioned that, and I know a lot of people probably think like, let's keep it real, y'all. Y'all probably thinking, what is a principal doing with a podcast? But y'all don't know this lady like I know her. Okay, so I know you talked about like your friend group kind of like pouring into you to start your podcast, but what is it doing for you? Because you have a couple episodes out with some phenomenal people.
I have 5 and 2 more to drop. Okay. And this is only 3. So we're in the second series of 2theMax.
Period.
2theMax.
2theMax.
Yeah, you know, y'all pick at me and my 2.
But the whole world's going to be doing it very soon.
Say something. Speak into me. So I needed a way to not drown in all of the stuff that is mixed in the world of work we do of education and the work that I am required to do. Because although it's rewarding, it is also extremely draining. It takes a lot of you. You take on all the traumas and chaos and experiences when you are an emotional feeling person of everyone that you serve. And so I feel for every student in my building, every staff in my building, it's a lot of weight to carry, right? Yes. And so I needed something to kind of excite me again and to bring back my passion and my love and my zeal. And I did not know what that was.
Zeal.
And my zeal.
Earn the zeal, y'all.
Listen, I need a zeal, a zest, or something. So My children are grown, they're 23 and 21. And I really said, oh, I maybe should have waited to get my doctorate, because I'm also a person who likes to learn and who likes to grow. And I want to always kind of stay current. And I didn't know how to do that because I have a doctorate. I was like, well, maybe I could go be a lawyer, but like, I don't want to do law. Like, I didn't know.
Right.
And so the podcast gives me the opportunity to sit with amazing, dynamic people such as yourself, to have real talk, dynamic, to have real talk. Oh, yeah. They're teaching me all kinds of line dances. I mean, we got to get to that, like the celebration piece.
Yes.
But you guys it does something for me. I learn something every time I sit with these amazing educators, these amazing people who've done some dynamic things, and not so much because they are experts in a content, but because of their passion and the impact that they're having. And this gives me that space. And my children are like, mommy, mother, podcasting is not new. Like, we know you think it's new, but it's something. So you kind of come in on the back end. And I was like, I don't care. If they can do it, why not me?
Right.
So my concept is always, why not me? But I also struggle with wanting to be good at it. I also struggle with wanting to be a perfectionist. I also struggle with this, I'm not getting enough likes, or I don't have enough reviews. And amazing people such as yourself, the editor, my husband, my colleagues are like, stay the course. This is something that happens over time, just like everything else.
So, 2theMax podcast.
Ooh.
So
I'm having so much fun.
Dog she was so excited. She was jumping up and down with
running down the hallway. Like, I was all but doing cartwheels.
Right.
Like, y'all, I got an idea. But it took you and Mr. Transu, some of my young, innovative teachers, to say, Doc, this is you, baby. We got this.
And we want to see your personality. She behind it, y'all. We see it every day. And I'm like, dog, that's something that we could record and put on Instagram or something.
And I'm like, no, it's not structured today. Don't put me out there for the people.
But that's what they like. Authenticity. Whatever.
I know, but I say that. So that's the balance. You got authenticity, but that's the balance, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm such a structured, organized person that the transparency of all this still for me is a struggle, even though we're having real talk about education. Me showing up for you guys this way is not, I wasn't even on social media. And so I go from a person not being out in front of the world to fully showing myself full blown, right? Yeah. And that's a scary place to be, believe it or not. So I'm a little bit terrified about this. I'm a little nervous about this. But I really do believe it can have really amazing impact.
Yeah, because you're walking into your why. So she's always mentioning.
You're about to make me cry.
Yes, you are. This is meant to be.
Amen.
But you're always mentioning Jennifer Hudson. Every time something good happens, I'm going to be on the Jennifer Hudson show.
Guys, we are going to the J Hud show, and we're walking down the tunnel. And I practice my dance every day after work, believe it or not.
Yeah, so how do you see yourself getting there? Like, what are some things that you're going to consistently do with your podcast to get there? To get to where you want to be? It may be beyond her show.
Wait a minute, hold on. So I just wanted to walk down the tunnel. Are you having a different kind of conversation? Like, I'm going to eventually
be sitting down with J Hud.
And then I'm going to eventually have me a couch that people sit on and everybody sees me.
Yes.
You see that?
Yes.
See that for me?
Yes, 2theMax podcast.
Oh, God is good. So, I think I'm going to have to go through a lot of training and therapy and and more therapy and training. Mm-hmm. But I do see that educators and people, we're up today, we're down tomorrow. Like, we're not perfect people. And we're given hundreds to thousands of people every day who have their own independent wills. And so when you walk in a building intentional about doing good work, it doesn't mean it's always going to be the right thing. Right. But what we do is judged. We're judged. We're constantly judged. And because I'm constantly judged at work all day, every day, it's hard for me to then put myself out to be judged again, where I'm trying to do something good.
Right.
And so when I was talking about the J Hud show, and it wasn't me, it was like, oh my gosh, guys, all of us are going to go to the J Hud show because we're doing these things at work. All of us are going to go to the J Hud show because of the impact we're having on 2theMax podcast.
Right.
And then, like, I never see it as that one day this will be something that will be so impactful to people that I could have that kind of stage. Not because I don't have that kind of knowledge or experience or worth, but why me, right? And so that's also me having to grow in that experience of being put in the spotlight and being okay with getting it right, getting it wrong, the imperfections of showing authentically yourself, your emotions, your highs and your lows. And those are things that I was taught in my generation. What happens at the house, you keep at the house, right?
Right.
You don't show everybody how you feel, you know, and I still struggle. Like I felt a little tear, and my mama told me earlier today, you need to stop crying all the time. Like I think I talked about that on a previous episode.
So you're a crier.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard for me to cry in front of people unless it's like something that's really, really detrimental happening right now.
But I think you're who I was previously, but with age and with time, I am so in my soft girl season.
Okay, soft girl.
Girl, that's one of y'all, you know, that did I clock that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And I think seeing you on your off time, I really see it.
Yes, you see that.
Yes.
But at work, I am responsible for the lives of hundreds of people, right?
Right.
I can't be up there crying. I've got to be ready for whatever comes my way because I got to make sure y'all are safe. And I want to make sure that you have a space that allows you to go do what you're to do. And whatever the daggers that come, I have to be able to take them. But when I'm not on my own for Dr. Max, Thyais got to be able to release. Thyais got to be able to reboot. Thyais got to be able to rejuvenate because I've got to be able to handle whatever I have to handle to keep you guys safe and to protect you. Right. The protection of the staff and the students and my school community is so vitally important to me. Because I feel like I didn't always have somebody in my educational experiences growing up in a rural community who was batting for me, right? Where I grew up, you were supposed to get a high school diploma and go maybe work part-time somewhere, get married, you know, and come back. Nobody's trained me and my girlfriends take the ACT, SAT, you know, you can be great. What do you desire to be in life? And I don't want that for other people's children. I want other people's children to know it doesn't matter where you are from, who you can become. And if I am the only bell ringing success in your ear, I want you to wake up and say, Dr. Maxwell said I could. Mrs. Maxwell said I could. Miss Artist said I could. And children that I've served come back and tell me that. And I'm firm, but I love to the ends of the earth. And so that's just why.
Yeah. So this is my last question that I want to ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so educators, you know, it's the last lap.
Oh my goodness,
the staff is rising. Quarter. We're finally here.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise it.
We are here. So what are some encouraging words that you can give to our educators now? From admin to teachers to coaches to just anybody that's in education. It's the last lap.
Yeah.
What's some encouraging words you can leave?
Stay the course. Keep your focus.
Stay the course.
Stay the course. Keep your focus. Remember your why, right? And don't forget to celebrate. Like, I think even when I have low days, and I'm the principal who I firmly believe I'm supposed to be lifting up my staff. Some of you will come in the office and be like, "Where Doc at? It's 5 o'clock." And y'all are playing music out front. Yeah. And you make me come laugh, dance, just have a good time, right?
Where the fans
Hey, where the fans at? I learned where the fans at. Y'all have taught me follow me.
Right.
I'm learning all of these line dances, and we do those things because you have to celebrate. This is not a marathon. Like we might win some battles, but we're gonna lose some. But at the end of the day, we want to win the war, right?
We want to win the war because I might lose some battles.
Baby, you are going
to win that war.
You are going to lose some battles because you learn something in that. Because when you're losing a battle, you get to go back and analyze your strategy, your course of action, what it was you should have done differently, the things that were successful, and how you can improve upon those things. So the losses don't mean that you don't keep going. The losses mean they got me this time, but
Right.
how did they get me?
Right.
Right. I'm always thinking about the how so I can win. Because at the
Right.
end of the day, I need to win this war.
Mhm.
And as educators, we're warring with so many things. And Superintendent McManus said that distracting tactics may come, but don't lose your focus. And right now, the distraction tactics are not only coming for us. It's getting hot. They're coming for the kids.
Right.
It's getting hot. They're coming for the parents.
Mhm.
It's getting hot. All of the things that are happening in society right now has everybody at war, stressed out about what's going to happen. We're losing all this funding. We're losing all these positions. We're having to recalibrate every single day. But stay the course. Stay focused on children and doing what is right and in the best interest of them. And rejuvenate yourself. Give yourself the grace and the space to say, I might didn't get it right today, but I'm going to recover from that. We're going to apologize. We're going to reset and we're going to move on. But love, because love and relationships, they will continue to show up for you. And when you have loving relationships, you're authentic and you're true. But stay the course. And don't lose your focus.
Yes, and that's a word. Stay the course and don't lose your focus.
Amen.
I just want to say thank you so much,
Thank you,
Dr. Maxwell, for just having me on here and co-hosting. Because it was so crazy. Right before you called me, I had my talks with God, y'all.
Is he not your best friend?
Yeah, my best friend. Sometimes I just look like, hey, God, I need you real quick because I'm about to go off on these people. All right? Emotions gonna come out. But I was just like, look, God, I know you're going to get me to that place.
Amen.
And I just feel like being here today on the mic after I took months off is like I'm walking back into my purpose. So I just want to thank you for having me on here.
And I just want to tell you how dynamic and amazing of a young woman you are. And I'm so proud of you. You were a mentor for my daughter in high school. And just as she's continued to evolve, to be able to have people to lean on or to lean into, and you pour into them and to build their capacity is amazing. And you sit strong in your purpose. You have not wavered. You were like, Dr. Maxwell, I really want to be a social media promoter. That might not be the right word. You know, I get my words wrong.
That's
But
good.
Okay. And you were like, that is my goal. Like, I really want to be an influencer. I really have all these things moving and set up. From the radio station work to all of these things. So how is me teaching English getting me to that?
Right.
Right.
Look,
Right.
come on now.
I'm going to the left. And
Right.
we talked through that it is not too far to the left.
Mhm.
Because all of the relationships, the connections, and the work you're doing builds your resume. So you might not just end up at this place, but there's no escalator to success. You're taking the stairs. And I think being, what are y'all, Gen X people?
Gen Z.
Okay.
Gen Z.
So being a Gen Z with this instant gratification your whole life, you're like, what you mean I got to do? I don't want to do this right here. I just want to be there.
Right.
And I am so proud that you said, I get it. And you're staying the course and you're dynamic, you're beautiful. Your energy is exhilarating. And I am so proud of you and what you are accomplishing. And the best for you is yet to come.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Maxwell.
Thank you. So Miss Nia Simone, before we wrap up this nice episode, you do some stuff. So where can our wonderful To The Max podcast guests follow you?
Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram at WTWord podcast _. I know that's a lot, so I'm gonna say it again. WTWord podcast _. So I started my podcast in 2020. So I have some later episodes, but I'm coming back. You can listen to me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts as well.
Oh, I want to be like you.
Yeah.
Come on, girl. Let's
We can connect.
You're gonna show me how to do that.
Definitely.
Max is gonna be on all those amazing things.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much for joining me and Nia Simone. Yes,
Y'all heard it.
On To The Max podcast. Please make sure that you watch, like, subscribe, and share. We need you to sow into us. So add a comment. Give us some feedback. Thank you all. We hope to see you soon. And remember to go out and be great because you already are. Mwah.